So shares of Disney right now are essentially flat as we await the start of Disney's Investor Day. I guess you'd call it a streaming conference. Dan Roberts is going to be watching this. Explain to all of us why my letting Disney Plus lapse was a mistake.
Well, yeah, Adam. I mean, we're all waiting to see exactly what Disney's going to do in terms of its streaming versus theater strategy, especially after Warner Brothers Studios shook up Hollywood just a week ago by announcing that it'll put all of its movies in 2021, that's 17, some of them highly anticipated movies, on its HBO Max streaming platform the same day they hit theaters. So the question everyone had immediately was, will Disney follow? I think the answer is going to be no, and I'll tell you why. There's a few reasons there. First of all, Disney, assuming that it believes at some point people are going to be willing to go back to theaters in the next 12 months, Disney's recent blockbusters have done huge numbers in the box office pre-pandemic. I mean, the Marvel movies and then some of those live action remakes like Aladdin and Jungle Book and Lion King. So if it doesn't have to, Disney doesn't want to skip theaters. It wants to keep that relationship strong with exhibitors, as they're called, theaters. The second reason is Disney doesn't as urgently need to boost Disney Plus subscriptions now as Warner Media does with HBO Max. Disney Plus has already grown to 74 million paying subscribers. And so there's really no reason to completely blow up the relationship with theaters, whereas the reason WB is doing it is to boost subs for HBO Max.
So will there be specific questions in addition to the streaming about their intention of park reopenings? Because they've laid off, 38,000 people?
Yeah, 32,000 people. Now, those layoffs are still happening. It's going to happen by the end of the year. Disney quietly raised that number by another 4,000 people a couple weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving. It sucks. Now, part of this is that, Disneyland in California is closed completely, and that's due to state guidelines. Disney's hands are tied with Disneyland in California. Can't really do anything until the state allows it to reopen. And it's already come out that at the earliest, that's not going to be until after Christmas. So Disneyland is going to remain closed. Disney World in Florida is open, but very thin crowds. I mean, it's operating at below 20% capacity. So it's a problem. And I think all this is just a reminder that the bulk of the workforce at Disney is parks workers. So at first, if you remember the pandemic, there were huge numbers that came out about how many parks employees would be furloughed. Now that has changed to permanent layoffs. You hate to see it. And yet, and I wrote about this, Adam, a few weeks back with Disney's earnings, even though the company reported a loss for the quarter and then a loss for the fiscal year 2020, still the stock went up big, and that was purely based on the encouraging Disney Plus numbers. So Disney's streaming efforts are now seen as so core and so exciting to investors that they have the power to distract from the other very bad news.
Dan Roberts, we'll know you're going to be posting stories about the Investor Day, so thank you very much for bringing us up to speed on Disney.